Hello to all my subscribers and my stitching friends, and also to anyone who's just turned up and is taking a curious look at my pattern that I'm working on here. So this is Sad Fairy that I've been working on for about 5 months now, and I am about 20% done. And I've now got to this lovely area here and completing some of this face and hair. And it's really sort of given me a bit of a boost because I was getting a little bit tired of the sky. So in my regular Stitch with Me's, I like to just chat with you as I stitch and hope that you'll stitch along with me. And we can also relax to some soothing music in the background. So I'm going to carry on, I think, with the facial area because I think that makes the most sense. And I kind of thought I decided not to do the whole face and maybe just do, say, the eye and then go back to doing more of the background, because I don't want to complete the most interesting part first and then find that I find myself not keen enough to go to the rest of it. So I think I'm going to have to be pretty, let's say, disciplined here. I don't know whether you think, I should just carry on and do the whole face. I suppose it just depends on, the mood I'm in at the time. I mean, I could just come back and say, you know what, to hell with this. I'm just going to do the whole face. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so let's get started. So it's a lovely, bright and sunny day where I am, and I have been out already, and I have got a little bit of sunshine, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. So now I'm ready to just kind of sit down and relax and get on with a little bit of stitching. So it's always nice to just do something that keeps you a little busy and then come back and stitch. So I like to move strands out of the way that I'm not actually using at the moment, because they will just get in my way. So I'm going to go and just keep out the strands that I think I need for that particular section, because I tend to work in 10 by 10 blocks. And I want to make sure that I've got the right section up on the screen. Yes, I have at the moment. And so I can either start at this end. Okay, I'm going to need that thread too, actually, by the looks of my pattern keeper. So I'm going to need to do, I don't know whether to start from right to left or left to right. Let's see which way they're going. They're actually going from left to right. So let's start down this end and see how we go. That thread is looking a little small. It should be okay. So I'm finding that the shorter the threads, actually the harder it is to thread them. Well, obviously, but to even actually get it into the eye, it seems a bit awkward as well for some reason. But I've only got one more stitch here, so I'm going to try and bear with it as best I can. And I've been going extra carefully since I started doing the eye, because I didn't want to mess that up. Because if you mess up something as important as that, then you're not going to be able to get another chance to fix it, because I do not like unpicking on 25 count. It's just really hard to see the stitches, especially if they're lighter stitches. So kind of making sure that I don't go too fast or too slow, somewhere in between sounds like a good bet. So how is everybody's weekend going so far? Are you guys still in lockdown, or have you come out of lockdown? Seems to be a different story in different places. I think we in the UK are coming out of our lockdown status next week, well, as from Monday apparently. So I'm waiting to see if everybody's going to go absolutely nuts and start hitting the high street, shopping malls and everything, I mean, is everybody just going to be a bit, are they going to continue to be a little bit cautious, or are they just going to make up for lost time? I know it's probably very tempting, very, very tempting to just go a bit crazy. But is it a good idea, is the question. Is it a good idea? Who knows? There seems to be a different story every week with regards to the situation. But anyway, hopefully you're safe wherever you are. I think these stitches here are very important because they are actually not just that they're full of confetti, but they are actually really, I think each colour of each stitch here plays an important part in this particular area, which is why you don't want to mess it up. And I certainly don't want to mess it up. Now when you look up really close, this band that she has on her head does look kind of strange, but when you look at it from a distance, it all kind of blends in and you can actually tell that it's a headband or a tiara or whatever it is. But at first when I was doing it, I thought it was veins, or I thought I'd got the colours wrong. I didn't actually realise that she had something on her forehead, and I had to go and verify it again looking at the chart. To see, and then I was like, oh yeah, there is actually something on her head. It isn't just me messing up all the colours. But again, it doesn't look right when you're looking at it close up, but I think that once you have it at a distance, yeah, it should be fine. Especially when you've got the other part of it there as well. Oh, my needle's getting lost at the back. So this is such an interesting part. I kind of feel like I shouldn't be doing it at the moment, and the reason I say that is because I've still got so much of the background to do. I kind of feel a bit like a cheat. I feel like, you know, that I've run to the finish line before I should have done, or something like that. But I also think, well, you know, why not? I mean, it's going to be done at some point anyway, right? So just enjoy the moment. But I don't think I would have started the pattern straight in the middle. I've thought about starting the pattern in the middle, thinking, well, it might be interesting to actually work outwards. That could just be an interesting, you know, new way to work. However, how do you do parking in rows if you're working, if you start in the middle? So you just do what, like one square, and then do the surrounding squares, and then kind of like radial motion? Or do you just start in the middle and do a whole page, the page in the middle? And it just seems like there's a lot of options, but I'm not sure of the practicality of those options. So I don't want to actually do it and then find that it's awkward or it's too difficult. because then what happens is that you end up thinking, oh, I've got a stitch missing here, hang on. You end up thinking, well, I wish I had just gone back to my normal spot where I started, because now it's too late. Now, I think there's 3 stitches here, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 3, or am I mistaken? 1, 2, 3, so which stitch is that one? Yeah, I think what's happened here is I've got a stitch marked off here that isn't marked off on the pattern keeper. That's right. So I'm going to unmark it on pattern keeper so that I don't get mixed up when I come to it. So this was actually in the right place. Okay. Like I said, I'm going extra carefully on this section just because of the fact that it is a very important area of the pattern. And I'm not even sure that I'm not liking the lack of a grid here. And I have put in a few little dots in blue at the beginning of the square. But I think at this particular stage I would have liked to have my easy count back when I had washed this one off, because the 20 by 20 grid was confusing me. But at this point it might have actually been more useful, I don't know. So, but anyway, we'll soldier on, and I think we're getting a good show here with the eye. No, I think that's wrong. One above. Sometimes you can park just one stitch away from where it's supposed to be, and that can mess up everything, honestly. I'm not really making parking sound fantastic, am I? I should be advocating it a little bit better than I am. Parking's fabulous. Look at all these lovely threads just dangling there, waiting to be worked. So this line, this nice neat line that we've got down there, is the bottom of the squares. Bottom of the 10 by 10. And it's looking good, I think. So I've come to a bit of a bridge now. Now I think that I should level this bit out here. What do you guys think? There's a little section just here that needs to come down before I go and work on the right side of her face. See how much detail comes out there? An incredible amount of detail. But I'm afraid I'm going to cover that up a little now. So I'm going to push these things out of the way so that I can work on this section. And again, I'm going to continue on my rows It is really nice when they've charted the pattern really nicely and you can see a lot of detail. I'm quite lucky to have quite a few of these parked and waiting. Don't worry about this blue line there because that is actually my grid pen, my marker pen. And it does wash off, so it's nothing that's going to stay or stain the fabric. And if you're wondering what colour this canvas is, it's actually, I think it's called Ecru is the name for it. So it's kind of just like a beige, because I find the white on white is just too much for my eyes. So Ecru works a lot better. But I think the Easy Count that I like, I think that is white actually. But there's a compromise there because you've got the grids, so it's easier to tell when you've made a mistake. But that blue, that pen is actually showing through, so she's going to look like she's got a little line going down her face until it gets washed, I'm afraid. But it's not permanent, so we don't have to worry about it. You can just blend in with the other blues on her face. I'm really enjoying this. Even though it's confetti, I'm still enjoying it. And at the angle I'm sitting, it's kind of like she's actually looking straight at me at the moment. Which is, yeah, quite funny. Okay, so now it's saying that I have one parked in that spot and I don't have one parked in that spot, but I know which colour it is. So I can see it looks like this one here. And I'm correct, so where is that one parked? Oh, I know what I've done. I've gone and parked down the wrong side. That's okay. It's fixable. Been looking at the wrong row. So this one has to come back out. That's the other thing. If you're looking at the wrong square or the wrong row, it's not a good sign, is it? So I'm supposed to be back up here. That's it. Reparking my thread. I wish I was this good at parking when I was driving my car. Gosh, I seem to have gotten through those stitches fairly quickly. I am not going to complain about that. we go. Now to pick up another one that I've got behind here. And her face is starting to come together. I am actually really tempted to just carry on and do the rest of her face. So at this point, I have absolutely no idea whether I should or I shouldn't. Perhaps I should put it to a vote. Okay, I can't actually park this one because I can't see the hole. So it's 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I see the hole. You can go over that side. And you can go over that side, so I don't get confused where I am. And I've got another little row here that needs to be done. And I think I need a new colour. So I think I established that I would just do her eyes or something like that and then go back and do some more background, and I think that's probably a good idea before I get too caught up in all this mega excitement. And then I finish all her face and then I'll say, oh no, now I've got to go and do the trees. Nothing but trees and trees and trees. So maybe, just maybe, it's a good idea to balance it out and do a bit of the background again and then come back and do some more of her face and vice versa. But then I still also have the rest of her, like the wings. There's my loop start. And I'm going to park that underneath. That also is going to go up there for the moment. So far, so good. So when I've done these last few stitches, this might be a good time to look back and see whether it's a good idea to move on to a different area, or maybe I should level up this section first. So I've got my complete square again. See, I did go cross country, and then at the end of the day, I just go back to doing the parking. And it's a right muddly mess to get back to a nice, neat parking state. But hey, what's life without a challenge? You get to learn an awful lot, and you build up your own little tricks and your own little shortcuts, and you figure out little ways of doing things. That suit you. And the reason parking doesn't bother me in the slightest at the moment now is because I can thread the needle so fast. And I think if it took me forever to thread a needle, obviously I would not be doing this particular method. Okay, so that's it. Let's have a look now and see where we're at. I'm going to bring some of these things down so we can look at her again and see how this works. So what do we think? Hide these ones up here again. So there, a little bit more of her face coming together. I'm liking it. The further away I look, more interesting it gets. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking we'll carry on filling that section and then maybe go back to some background. But it definitely looks better when you're looking at this from a distance, I tell you, because you look at it close up and you can see it just looks like too pixelated close up. I think it's something that does need to be looked at. Further away, you get more of an appreciation and you can actually appreciate the kind of 3D dimension of it. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care.